Hi guys, Arthur here from Homeowner DIY. In this video, I'm going to be pouring a concrete slab that's going to have a shed on top of it. Now, this is DIY concrete, which means it's going to be consistently inconsistent. No matter how many times I pour concrete, I cannot get it close to professionals, but the result is fairly decent for a DIYer like myself. So guys, when you look at a professional sidewalk, don't compare that to your work because they are professionals. They know all the nuances. But by doing what I have done here, you can at least get a respectable result. And you're going to have a solid concrete slab that will last for many years. Now guys, one quick thing. Check out the description for the other videos. I'll link into it on what I've learned about concrete so you can have the best possible result when it comes to your project. So what we'll do now is we'll look at our setup. Okay, so this is our slab right here. It's 4 by 8, something like that. We're gonna do a 4-inch slab, so or 3.5 using 2x4s. But this is where we're going to pour concrete, so what we'll do now is material and tools. All right, this is our materials list. So we have our concrete here. We have our 2x4s for our forms. I've got stakes that I already made, 3-inch screws, and then some extra lumber for anything else that I might need. This is the material list on this job. So what we'll do now is the tools list. All right, this is the tools list. So I've got a couple sledgehammers. This will be for my stakes. This will be for compressing. My concrete finishing tool. For safety equipment, respirator. I also do have earplugs. Cordless kit, my extension cord. 4-foot level. Next is a circular saw. My pouch, so measuring tape, knife. We have a hose and nozzle for water. And then, last but not least, wheelbarrow. So we have shovels, rake, pickaxe, garden tools. This is what I need for tools on this job, so let's get started. All right, so this is our form. I've gone all the way around, so I've went from corner to corner. I measured. I went from corner to corner. I measured. The measurements are the same. That means this thing is square. If your measurements are not the same, something needs to be shifted. Anyway, so we're gonna go off of this here. This is going to be our level. So with my 4-foot level, it's currently level right now off of this side. So I've already checked this. We're level. I've checked the other side. We're level, and as well, I've checked it here, and we're level all the way around. So with our form now in place, what can happen is I'm going to punch in 2 stakes here. 1 stake here, 1 stake here. And over here, because there's a perimeter drain here, what we did here is we stuffed rocks in behind it, so the grass is going to help hold the form back. The rocks is going to keep pressure on the 2x4. Once we pour, the concrete is going to want to push outward. So this is going to prevent that from happening. All right, so the 2 stakes can be pounded in. So the form has moved a bit. All right, with the stakes pounded in, I'm going to make sure everything is still relatively square before screwing everything in. The idea of the stakes is to keep the form from being pushed out from the weight of the concrete. Okay, so with the stakes pounded in, make sure that you go down, let's say, at least a foot. Depends on what type of ground you're going into. If it's really sandy, you got to go deeper, but the idea of the stake is to hold the level of the form as well as to keep it from wanting to be kicked out. So we'll grab our level, and this is the last opportunity to make any adjustments. So the level is currently level off of this side, and then we see the gap here, which means this just needs to be raised up to the bottom of the level, and then it can be screwed in. All right, so our stakes are in. Stakes are in. Everything has been leveled off. So now what we need to do is we need to level this off here, because if we don't level it off, we're pouring more concrete than what we need. So to start out, we see the huge gap here, which we're going to fill in. And then at the base, we have 6 inches. Well, the 2x4 is 3.5 inches. And we're also going off of this here. So now we're going to start filling this back in. So we'll throw dirt in. We're going to wet it down, compress it, and then go all the way along. This is the time to make sure that you're roughly level all the way across. Otherwise, if you're not, you're going to be spending more money, time, and energy on concrete than if you were just to backfill with dirt. So I didn't dig out for the form, but if I was going to, I would be very careful about digging out just what I need, leaving the ground underneath undisturbed because it's already been compacted. Then you don't have to do anything. If you dig out more than you need to, then you have to go back, fill in, compact it, soak it, and keep going until everything is the same all the way across. So by being very careful about how much you dig out, you can eliminate the need for extra work later on. So when backfilling, this ground here seems to have chunks of clay. Make sure you break up the chunks of clay. If there's any branches, debris, get rid of those rocks, get rid of them so you have a uniform base to go by. With the ground roughly level, it's now time to compact it. So wet the ground down before you start to compact it. It rained a few days ago, so the ground has some water in it, but if it's been dry for quite some time, make sure that you get it really wet. Like I said, I don't think there's a such thing as getting it too wet, but after you get it wet, start to compact the ground. In this case, I'm going to use a sledgehammer with a 2x4 strap to it. Alright, so we've backfilled this. Now it's time to check. So what we're going to do is we're going to check where the level is. Now this dirt is very soft, but what we want to have is roughly 3.5 inches uniform all the way across. So you're going to keep moving your level, checking for depth, and you want the depth to be fairly consistent. A 1/2 inch here and there is not a big deal, but and then go down the entire form. Any low spots, fill. If it's high, scrape back, but take your time, because it's easier to do this right the first time than go back and fix your mistake. Alright, so this is our form. It's been leveled, everything has been compacted. Now guys, one thing to keep in mind, do you see the standing water here? This is necessary. If you pour on dry dirt, you're going to suck the water out of the concrete, and then you're going to get cracks. So you want the dirt to be wet. Temperature, humidity, I'm sure a whole lot of things become factors when it comes to pouring concrete. I'm just a DIYer, so I don't know the nuances, but watching concrete guys on construction sites, I've learned a few things, but they're better than I am. Anyways, the temperature today is like 20 Celsius. It's not really warm, but temperature will be a factor as well when it comes to pouring concrete. But I don't think there's a such thing as too wet, but if you pour on a dry slab, you're going to run into problems. So what we're going to do now is start with our concrete pour. When it comes to mixing concrete, wear at least a dust mask. I have a respirator. The dust from concrete is toxic. So I'll show mixing one bag. When mixing concrete, you're going to do this by the way it looks. You don't want to have standing water. You want to make sure that it's mixed uniformly all the way around. Any dry spots, which you will find very commonly, need to be mixed. Otherwise, your concrete will be even more consistently inconsistent. Like I said, this is DIY, so there's no real metric other than looking at it, as far as I know, on making sure that your concrete has the proper water to concrete ratio. When mixing concrete, add water as you need to. It is easier to add more water to a drier mixture than adding concrete to too wet of a mixture. This will take a couple bags to get the idea of where you need to be. But as a general rule of thumb, you need less water than you think you do. So this bag is about ready. Make sure that you have no dry spots. You see a little bit of standing water on the right side, so mix that in. Mix it around until you have a nice consistent looking concrete. It's not too wet. You don't have any dry spots. It's not clumping anywhere. Once you have a nice uniform mixture, this concrete will be ready to pour. With the first bag in, instead of distributing, just stab to get the air out of it. You need to make sure all the air is gone, otherwise you're going to have air pockets in your concrete, and that is going to weaken your concrete significantly. So this is 3 bags. We have a nice big mound. Now the concrete can start to be distributed to the back, and once it's been distributed to the back, stab it to get the air out before you add more concrete. So I would suggest pour your concrete to the top of your form, stab it to get the air out. Once the concrete is at the top of your form, you can start moving from left to right. You're going to have to go back and add to the low spots and skim off the top of the high spots, but make sure that you're level from one side before moving to the next area. Alright, so we have now finished the slab. We just finished pouring a few minutes ago. So we are now what's in the first stage of concrete curing. All this water is eventually going to start to leach out. Now for concrete curing, this takes a few hours. But what I'm going to do now is I'll wait, and then when we hit the leaching phase, we'll come back and then take a look at what this looks like. This also gives you an opportunity. If you notice any low spots or anything like that, you can fill them. Any high spots, you can straighten them out. But now this is the time to start waiting. The concrete is way too wet. It's way too watery to be able to form. Alright guys, so this is now our second stage of curing. So you can see a little bit of the runs of water coming up. But at this stage now, it's still too wet to do a final finish. But what you can do is smooth out any high spots or anything like this. So we're at what I would say the intermediate stage is for concrete. You can smooth some stuff out, just it's not ready yet to be fully cured. Again, this is going to be dependent on temperature and all this other stuff that a DIYer like me has no clue about. But this is our second stage. You can lightly go over and you can smooth it out a little bit. So you see the difference where I went over with the trowel and where I haven't. So what that means is this here has been moved around a little bit, and everything else still has a layer of water on top. So at this point, if you want to go very gently, smooth stuff out, maybe get some water off the top, that's perfectly fine. But as I said, this is not at the point yet where we need to be for a final finish. So stuff like this will be noticeable later on. Well, we see some lines, but that's perfectly fine because this is not where it needs to be for a final curing. And guys, this is, if you're gonna pay somebody, this is when this is gonna start to get expensive, when you're paying somebody to sit around a couple hours waiting for your concrete to get to the point that you can do a final finish. Okay, so we are now in the final stage where the water's gone. So it is now enough, it is stiff enough that we can do a final smoothing out. Okay, so now just go over very gently. And this is the end of the slab. So, guys, with this slab, leave it now for the next few days. I would say 3 days is the minimum that you want to leave it for before you do anything. All right, so what we've done for the kids here, we have mom and dad's handprints and then the kids' handprints as well. So inscribed 2024. Guys, once again, this is the time to do any type of texture or anything. The concrete needs to be stiff enough that you're going to be able to maintain the effect that you want, but it needs to be pliable enough that you can actually get that effect. And this is something that's going to take some experience. Again, this is DIY. Professionals will be a lot better at this than I am, but at least you can save yourself a ton of money doing this on your own. So with that in mind, what we'll do now is an overview of this job. Alright guys, so that concludes this job. So this job is small, but no matter how big your job is, you're going to follow the same fundamental steps. Waiting for curing is going to be the single biggest part of this job. Depending on the temperature, humidity, and other stuff, that will dictate how long you're going to have to wait before you can do your final finishing coat. Now, I will say, I believe it's easier when the weather is more mild, when it's cooler, than trying to do this in the summertime. I have seen sprinklers going on a concrete slab in a building because they want to prevent the concrete from drying too quickly, resulting in cracks. So in my opinion, probably the springtime, of course, is going to be dependent on where you live. I believe the springtime is probably the best time to pour your concrete. In the fall or winter, it may take so long that it can take over a day for you to get to where you need to be to do the final finishing. And you may not have time to do it when it's ready. The time on this job. The time was about 8 hours. Now that is from building the form to doing the final finishing coat with the trowel. Again, this is going to be dependent on your temperature, but you can expect after you're done pouring whatever section you are, 4 to 6 hours depending on the environmental factors for your job and location. The cost of this job. The concrete, the lumber, screws, and everything else that I used, the cost was about $200. Now, the concrete, of course, is the single biggest cost on this. I didn't use rebar or anything else because I don't think it's necessary for having something with a shed on it. If you're going to do a driveway that you're going to drive over, you probably want to consider using rebar to reinforce your concrete. Guys, I hope you enjoyed the video. I hope you learned something. I hope something here is going to help you on your project when you need to go ahead and do that. Guys, till next time, please hit the like button, subscribe, and I'll see you on the next project.